Do you feel it? I should ask you that. Sometimes when you're in it, it's like looking in the mirror and saying, have I lost weight? And you never see it. And then all of a sudden you see somebody you haven't seen in a while. Say, hey, have you lost weight? You're like, really? I can't see it, so I'm going to ask you that question.
There's definitely an excitement.
What you think it is?
New staff, high expectations. I mean, what do you attribute it to?
You said you felt it. I never said I felt it. I'm asking you, so you said you feel that.
I mean, the expectations are there for a great season after the college football playoff appearance again. We've got Tom Allen who's come in and maybe refreshed, re-energized things on the defensive staff.
What you think? Feel it?
I feel it.
You feel it? Do you feel it?
I think so.
You feel it? Yup.
A little bit.
You feel it a bit? I guess I feel it too. Expectation is beginning of the year. Anytime you have something new, it's cool. Christmas time, you get that new toy, it's exciting. So, we get a chance to, especially defensively, the way we played last year wasn't the best at all times. So, you get a chance to get a fresh breath of air and get a chance to do it all over again. And so that's exciting. It is. So it is a buzz. It is a buzz.
Talking about new toys will help just now that you've had half a year with them. Well, I guess not in the last couple months, but kind of what you expect out of him this year now that you've seen him.
Man, I just expect Will just to come in and just be who he is, man. I think his leadership has been unbelievable. I think what he's done for the room, not only as a football player, but how he lives his life off the field. How he trains, how he takes care of his body. And I think it was just something that those guys can learn from. Being an older guy, anytime you bring somebody, especially here, you bring somebody in new, it's always a freshman. So now that freshman is trying to learn from those older guys. Now you brought in an older guy, and now everybody's trying to learn from him, and he has some different ideas because he's been to a different place. So I think it's been really cool. So I'm expecting a lot of great things from him.
It doesn't happen that often, like you said, around here. What has that been like to have a guy who comes in who's ready to go, who's not a giant learning curve like so many of the new faces that come in on the D-line?
It's been good. Like I said, not only been back, 1 year, so it's been refreshing just to have a new face, another older guy in there to go along with some of the guys that we already have in the room. And like I said, some of his experiences. And, sometimes if you're just in one place, you only see it from this angle. But now he's bringing a different perspective. And now he can say, hey, we did it this way, or we had success here doing it this way. So, how about trying it this way?
With all the experience you've had, what have you seen from guys that have that elite skill set like TJ Parker? And to make sure that he maximizes what is an amazing amount of God-given ability.
Never satisfied. Always trying to, find that extra edge. Whether it's, do I think I should do extra sets in weight room? Should I run extra sprints? What do I need to study? How can I get better? Not being satisfied. Some of those guys, that are good, they're not all of them are hungry. All of them don't want to be great. They're just happy where they are. But you get a guy like TJ, Will, those guys are pushing each other and they're trying to, they're competing. All of them are competing, but they're trying to find that extra edge. What can I do? Just give me that little bit more.
What makes TJ so much different? We saw him in a couple games up in Charlotte. We saw him play at a level that was out of this world. Where can he go? What does he need to do?
Oh, he has a lot of work to do. He has a lot of work to do. He has to continue to not only just learn his position, but he has to challenge him now to learn the whole entire defense, to know where everything fits, not just the front. Understand the linebackers and understand what the secondary is fitting, why they're saying some of the things that they're saying, and hopefully bringing that entire puzzle together so he can actually see the entire picture, and then he'll know why. We're asking him to, be here, to be there. So I think that's where he has to take his game, is to that next level is just here. The physical tools are there. He needs to take his part to another level.
See how Darian.
Man, I tell you what, man. I'm proud of him. This spring, he has some stiffness. He has some things that we're asking him to work on. And, man, this this off season, he did it. And when he came back this spring, he was a different guy. I mean, he was playing with his limp, and he's strong. I mean, he's really strong, and you know, he started to settle down in his position. He started to feel confident about what he's doing. And he still doesn't know the defense. He's still, you know, that's the area he has to grow. But man, he has the ceiling's high for this guy if he just continues to grow.
Where did that coaching begin with Marcus Dixon this spring? Kind of a guy that came over from offense. Where did you begin with him to kind of get him used to playing defensive end?
Well, I just dropped him in the grease from the beginning because I wanted to know if he just wanted to be there and say he played defensive end or he really wanted to play defensive end. So I did everything I could to make him change positions, and I just drove him really, really bad, and to make sure that's what he wanted to do. And I told him if he could put up with my craziness, he'll be a pretty good football player. So far, he's putting up with my craziness, but you haven't seen all of it yet. So he's gonna get another little dose, but he's definitely. I think he's in the right position. First of all, I think he's a guy that cares. He loves Clemson. He loves his teammate. He plays with toughness. He does have some physical attributes. So it's up to myself and the rest of the guys to pull that out of him to get it. Because you see it every once in a while, the light, you know, it's small. And now it's up to us to make sure that the light switches on all the time.
Where does Jaheim Lawson fit into this team? There's been some spurts, like you said, you know, what you were just talking about. I mean, where does Jaheim fit in?
I think Jaheim can fit in anywhere he wants to. I think he's one of the guys that give us a lot of twitch off the edge and rushing the passer. Jaheim just have to believe in Jaheim and know that Jaheim is enough.
What was from your point of view the recruiting process with Rumph? Like, when did you first see his film or learn about him as a potential prospect, and how did that go?
Oh yeah, that was interesting because it's the first time I think here in a long time that went out to a guy high profile like that, and just identified. First, you just see what you see on film, and that part checks the box, and then now you have to go back and you have to do your homework and find out as much as you can about who he is, what ticks him, what makes him go, what kind of guys you want to bring, no bad dude into your room, because we have a really good room, not only as football players, but we have really good guys in our room. And it was fortunate enough that Brick Haley was his coach at Purdue. So Brick Haley and I, who coach here some years back, he and I have a really good relationship. So we just hit him up and say, hey, tell me about this. And he's raving about it. But the first thing he said, man, what a great dude. And once he said that, I saw it. He said it really amazing. Recruiting process.
Coach, I apologize if we answered this already, but just how special could DJ Harper be?
I think he could be really good, man. He, like I said, he needs to take his game to another level for just knowledge of the entire defense. And I think the other thing he has to realize that, all his expectation to depend on his teammates. There's 10 other guys out there with him. So I don't want him to go out there and listen to everything that's being said about him and feel like, he has to do it all by himself. Just make the plays that come his way, and that's enough.
And how do you approach that relationship knowing he's got these expectations as the season? How do you kind of interact with him knowing all that?
I'm not going to change. I'm not going to change who I am, how I do it. So he knows that from the first day I came in here, I'm not going to change. I don't care if you walk-ons or you TJ Parker's little help, Jaheim, K. Denhoff, everybody's going to get it's equal opportunity with me. I'm not going to play those games.
What's your plan for Ari? I mean, I don't know where he is.
Ari is going to continue to bring him along, and we're blessed. We got some guys in our room right now that we're not totally relying on him right now to come in and be that dude. So we feel like we can take our time and bring him along and not rush the process.
Can he start in camp? Is he been cleared to start?
I'm not sure. I think so. That's above my pay grade. You know who I am. That's it. Hey, I appreciate y'all.